Hello, and welcome to the Elimination Dossier Roundup, which covers episodes 36 to 41. This is episode 42. We'll be going over, like I said, episodes 36 to 41. Alright, so with the blog edition, the first one, episode 36, Streamline Your Workflow, Content Marketing Efficiency Hacks. First takeaway I have is the 5 whys technique. This is where you ask yourself why like 5 times or so until you can't ask why anymore, and that helps you really get down to the deepest why. And this comes to why are you writing this content piece? Why does your target audience want what they want, etc. The next thing is focusing on evergreen content. So when you have evergreen content, it really streamlines your content marketing, because with evergreen content, you only have to go back and review it every once in a while to make sure it's still relevant and if there's anything you need to change. But if you're writing content like something that covers the news or something that changes all the time, then that's a lot more work. You'll have to review that a lot more often. All right, next is the good enough principle. Don't let perfection get in the way of good enough. So don't wait to launch your business or post that blog post or whatever until you think it's perfect. Just if it's good enough, put it out there, because that is how you'll learn. That is how you'll grow. You'll learn from your mistakes. The faster you make mistakes, the faster you'll learn, and the faster you'll get better at your craft. All right, so make sure you're batching content creation. This really streamlines things. If you're not batching it, if you're doing it like individually, it will be way too time consuming for you. And make sure you're optimizing for SEO along the way. So from the get-go, you should be focusing on keywords and making sure that everything that you're putting out is optimized for SEO. And then leverage user-generated content. And that is a great way to come up with new content. People are always asking questions, and instead of answering them directly, you can make a blog post about it or a video about it. And that way you'll answer the question that most likely most people have, or a lot of people have at least. All right, so applying that to running your business as a whole. This is episode 37, the podcast edition with Dana. So he brought up a technique that he uses, which is the 100 questions technique. And that's where everybody sits down and writes down 100 questions, whether they're dumb questions or good questions, it doesn't really matter. If you're not writing, he says, then you're not doing it right. So yeah, it's just writing down 100 questions about any given thing, content that you're trying to put out there, and then taking a few minutes to find out what your favorite ones are and answering those questions. All right, and in this episode, we did a 5 whys exercise where Dana asked me questions about firepreneurship, and I asked him questions about Turf Plus. Okay, what evergreen content looks like in business. He talked about his training manual. He realized in the beginning that he was training all of his employees to do the same thing, and it wasn't really changing. So he created his training manual so that quote unquote evergreen content will be there. And he does once a year go back and review it, see if there's any revisions that need to be made, or whatever. And then his non-evergreen content is when he has to train his lawn specialists or his office personnel each week on different things that are popping up during that time. All right, so don't do more, do the right things. So that is what efficiency is. It's not about doing more, it's about doing the right things. And so, yeah, if you're efficient, you're making sure you're doing all the right things to be successful. All right, push yourself to ask more questions. This kind of goes along with the 100 questions technique. 100 questions is a lot, and so you really have to push yourself to ask more questions. And so this is a really good way to really get to the bottom of things. It also goes with the 5 whys exercise. Just really push yourself to ask those questions, get deep, and really figure out if what you're doing, putting out there, is what people really want. And to go along with that, pushing yourself to ask more questions, you'll get to the bottom of things. All right, so now let's talk about AI's perspective or ChatGPT's perspective. Use mind maps. That'll be a really good way to visually represent your content marketing workflow and really help you strategize and streamline that workflow. Next, it mentions engaging with your audience. That goes along with utilizing your audience's questions as content. Create evergreen content. So that is really important when it comes to being efficient and streamlining your workflow. Focus on consistency. Make sure that you're writing about what your target market is interested in. Iterate and improve. Like I was saying before, don't let perfection get in the way of good enough. Just get the stuff out there, and over time you'll find out either from comments or feedback from your audience, or just by you figuring it out, that you will have to iterate and you'll have to improve. So yeah, the only way that you can really improve is by finding out what will really happen with your content, meaning put the stuff out there and you'll get real data that you can analyze. Okay, optimize your engagement. That's pretty self-explanatory there. All right, so the next blog post is called Cut the Clutter and Keep the Value. All right, so identify outdated or irrelevant content. If you're not writing evergreen content, then you will find this a lot more frequently, outdated or irrelevant content. And even with evergreen content, you might run into outdated or irrelevant content, which is why you should periodically review that content. Okay, analyze your content performance, like I was talking about before. Get your stuff out there and analyze the real data and adjust accordingly. Limit self-promotion. If you promote yourself too much, then people will be bored of it and you'll lose people. They'll bounce real quickly. Just make sure that you limit that self-promotion. All right, simplify your language. People don't want to hear a lot of jargon or really technical terms. So if you cut that out and simplify your language, then you'll be getting rid of a lot of clutter there, and really bringing out the value. And I will repeat here that sometimes using technical terms is a good idea, as long as you have a good definition to go with it. That way people will know that you are actually a professional in your field. All right, so gain a deep understanding of your audience, really get to know them, and you can do that by analyzing your content performance, what their likes are, what their dislikes are, etc. All right, make sure that throughout your content you are addressing pain points that your target market is going through, and giving solutions to go with those pain points. All right, so applying that to running your business. You can't be everything to everyone. So yeah, the clutter would be you trying to do anything and everything for everyone. It's just not going to work out. So discover pain points and address them. That can go along with your employees' pain points as well. So yeah, there are more than just your customers or clients' pain points. Okay, focus on quality. That will really boost your value when it comes to your products or services or even content as well. Okay, let the product or service sell itself. Pack it with so much value that it will just sell itself. You won't really have to promote it that much. You won't have to um, talk about it that much. People will just be able to see the value as long as it's clear cut for them, and that it will sell itself that way. Don't talk about the competition. If you do, that will make people think, oh yeah, there's competition. There's more that I need to look into when it comes to making this decision. And so it adds clutter to your selling. And so make sure that you don't talk about the competition. Just talk about what you do well, and move on. Okay, and again, pack in the value so that your product or service will sell itself, and that way you won't have to talk about the competition. Okay, so ChatGPT's perspective on it. Periodically audit your content. I've mentioned that before in the first section of this video. You have to go back and see if what you wrote is still relevant now to your audience. All right, so eliminate the unnecessary fluff. Don't just go for a target word count or length of a video. Just get to the point. People have other things that they need to get done. And just make sure that no matter how long or short your content is, it's valuable to your audience. All right, balance your promotion, your promoting. That's the same as before. Limit your promoting. That will end up being too cluttery for your audience, like I said before. All right, and prioritize value over everything. Like I was saying before, it doesn't matter how long or short it is, it needs to be valuable. So yeah, you just need to make sure that you don't have any extra clutter or fluff in there, and really put an emphasis on the value that you are providing for your audience. Okay, apply the so what test. So when you're creating a piece of content, you need to really think like, okay, so what? Why am I writing this? How will this help my audience? So make sure you're applying that so what test to your content to make it more relevant to your target audience. All right, and make sure that you're creating interactive content. People can get bored with just reading or watching a video or whatever. Make sure that it's entertaining as well, so that they will stay, or that it has a lot of educational value as well. But yeah, people want to stay interested in what they're consuming, whether that's reading, listening, or watching the content. They want to stay engaged. All right, so next week's dossier is all about automation. Thank you so much for watching. If you like this video, please give it a like. If you want to be a part of the conversation, then go ahead and comment. Please share with anybody that you can think of that will benefit from this kind of content, and also subscribe so that you can be in the know of when we put out new content. And if you're interested in receiving 8 free resources for your business, then visit firepreneurship.com/resources. See you next time.